TPCSI fans, you want to revolutionize your sports investing habits? Allow me to tell you about WagerWire. WagerWire is an app that helps you become a superior bettor by allowing you to sync all your sports books and track all your bets in one place. See your current action, your betting history, and stats. You could also sign up for sports books and collect bonus offers. Follow them at WagerWire on X, as it's the best account on the platform. Head to App Store or Play Store now and search WagerWire and download the app.
Excuse me, Mr. DJ.
Hey, check this out. We got a great show coming your way.
From the ECSI Sports Studios, it's the Midday Market Report with Jeff Dawson.
Good afternoon, sports fans from all around the globe. I am the host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and it's that time of the week for the Midday Market Report, and something special here. Good friend and colleague, Mr. Smooth Turn, Mr. Sean Alvarez has blessed us to talk some Saratoga horse racing. Saratoga opened up its meet yesterday. The not hurricane, I guess tropical storm was going to be initial, they thought, yesterday and today, but it looks like what I saw this morning, and I retweeted to Sean, that the turf is running. That means that the rain held, I don't want to say held off, but they're going to be able to run. He'll fill me in on that. So first and foremost, a shout out to our proud sponsor and partnership. Of course, it's WagerWire. If you have not downloaded the app, head on over to Google Play or wherever you download the apps. It's free. As you saw on the show before, CXO, Mr. Travis Geiger, joined us talking Paris, the Olympics, where he's heading some good stuff there. So please download that app. If you want to join the team, as he said, send an email to affiliate@wagerwire.com. Tell them JD from ECSI sent you. Travis, Zach, myself, Amber, Holly, Jay, the rest of the crew will take good care of you. So without further ado, with winners in his pocket, the one and only Mr. Sean Alvarez. What's up, Sean?
Not a whole lot. I always say it's a pleasure to talk to you because we have Triple Crown races, but, no Triple Crown races today. But, for me and I think a lot of fellow horse players, it's an exciting time when Saratoga starts because we have Del Mar right around the corner. It's two of my favorite tracks in the country. So a lot of fun to be had in the summer, and hopefully some winning tickets to be cashed as well.
And I wanted to start there because we've now for 2-3 seasons have brought you on for the big three, the Kentucky Derby, the Preakness, and the Belmont. We've talked, and I think definitely this year I will pin you down to make sure that you're on for the Breeders' Cup as well. But we've always hinted about Saratoga and Del Mar, and here you are. For the novice, for the average person that might just pop on FanDuel TV, TVG, what it used to be, my point is, get us to where we are today and how big actually yesterday was.
Yeah, I love Saratoga. It's full fields. It's very competitive fields. As we've always talked about, owners, trainers, jockeys, everybody, all of them want to win the Kentucky Derby, obviously. But as an owner, trainer, jockey, when you get into the game, you have, depending on the coast that you live on, you pretty much have two tracks singled out, and that's Saratoga and Del Mar. Everybody gears up for the Saratoga season, whether like I said, you're a trainer or even just a race fan. The city is incredible. I went, I'd say 5 or 6 years ago for my first and only time at Saratoga. It's amazing. Everybody there is a horse player. You walk around, you go in for breakfast or a muffin or whatnot, and instead of people looking on their phones or reading the newspaper, everybody's got the racing form out. And not only that, but they're friendly. They want to know who you like. Where are you sitting? Is this your first time there? Saratoga is definitely a special place, and kind of hinting at, like I talked about with the Kentucky Derby and full fields is, with as many horses that run in the undercards on, Kentucky Derby day, the prize pools and everybody with their eyes on it really elevates the prize pools and the prices that you get paid on what you would normally get as, let's say, a $20 winner. Maybe it's a $30 winner at Saratoga, what have you. So, there's a lot to like about Saratoga. Nobody's taking the day off. Everybody wants to win, whether it's the first race, whether it's a grade one, whether, it's the last race of the meet. Everybody wants to win. Everybody's gunning, for that win. So I think there's a lot to like, whether you're a horse player or just want to see, competitive and fun horse races. Saratoga is definitely, top of the mark as far as tracks across the country.
Now, the big three have passed. Now we're in the summer. You talk about Saratoga, you talk about Del Mar, but there are a few key big races to be run during this stretch to, I assume, certain wins will get you to certain races in the Breeders' Cup, correct?
Yeah, so Saratoga and Del Mar will definitely have what they call as win and you're in races. You win those races, and I believe all your entries and travel is paid to the Breeders' Cup. Now, it's not like the Kentucky Derby. You don't have to have points to get in. You basically have to the owner or trainer has to nominate by paying a fee, and then basically pay the entry fee to those races if you don't get in through those win and you're in. So, and you kind of hit the nail on the head. There is a lot, or there's a few races that kind of headline or highlight the Saratoga races, but each and every weekend we have grade one, grade two, grade three races throughout the cards at Saratoga and Del Mar. So it's great to lean and highlight the Travers at Saratoga or the Pacific Handicap at Del Mar. I believe they're both $1 million purses, maybe a little bit more these years. But with that being said, it's every Saturday, every Sunday there's going to be stakes races and competitive races to bet on and watch. So it's not one of those where you're waiting for the Kentucky Derby or you're waiting for the Breeders' Cup. It's going to be week in and week out until they close.
Well, today on our first debut of the summer card at Saratoga, you highlighted two stake races, the Diana and the Sanford. I'm going to give you the front stage here, obviously, and I guess we'll start with the Diana. How's that?
Yeah, definitely. So this, I believe, is going to be Saratoga's first grade one of the meet. So that's, obviously something to look forward to, as it's the, more high-end horses that are going to compete in this race. And I won't necessarily go through the field like we do for the Derby, since we're going to touch on two races each. And definitely, as you know me, Jeff, I got a couple suggested wagers that I hope me and you and a few of the listeners hit on as well. But a lot of what I look at, especially going 2 turns on the turf, which is what we're going to do in this grade one Diana, going 1 mile and an eighth on the inner turf course at Saratoga, is I look at the pace of the race. Who's going to set the lead? How many horses are going to set the lead? Who needs the lead? And then who's that set up to? Who's that set up for? Who's that set up against? And if you look at this race, there's really only, to me, there's only one horse that kind of needs the lead. And that horse is the number 9, Evie Jets, coming from all the way on the outside, just one post position in from the inside. And he's going to run to that first turn, maybe get hung out a little bit wide. So, this is a horse that has speed. I don't think Dylan Davis wants to sit off the pace, as she hasn't done much running while sitting off the pace. So she should gun to the lead. And there's not really anybody else that needs the lead there. So she's going to set the pace. I don't think she has enough closing kick to hold off horse, some really respected mares in this race. So I kind of look to see who's going to sit just kind of right off that pace. And we'll go to my number 1 selection, and that's the number 6 White Beam at 4-1, ridden by Flavian Pratt. If you've watched the Triple Crown videos with Jeff and I love Flavian Pratt. I think he's second to none with any jockey in the country. And he's going to sit that perfect stalking trip. There's not really going to be much around him to kind of push the button and push his issue. So he really is just going to sit on his internal clock, figure out when Dylan's either going to try and go or come back and hold off those favorites. And I just really think that he's going to sit the trip. She's going to sit the trip, or he, if it's Flavian. And with that 97 buyer speed figure last time out, I thought she did a really good amount of running in that race. She actually made the lead and then just couldn't hold off my second choice in this race, who's going to come flying late. And that second choice is the number 10 Chili Flag at 9-2 with Irad Ortiz riding. This horse doesn't necessarily need a lot of pace to run into, but she's going to come flying late. She's won 4 of her last 5 races, winning the Just a Game Grade 1 last time out, and doing it in a nice way by running down White Beam. So I think she can improve. I like the fact that Irad Ortiz stays on. The post position shouldn't bother her at all, as she wants nothing to do with the front end. He's just going to take back after the gate opens, and hopefully she's good enough come running late. And then my third choice is the number 1 Mora at 5-1. I really like this horse because she has a very similar running style to Chili Flag. She's going to come running late. Her last run was actually in the Breeders' Cup last year in November. So she comes back after a long layoff, but she's done it well and done it the last 2 times that she's had a layoff. She's had a very similar amount of layoff, and she's come back running. Now she gets the 1 position where she doesn't have to gun. Tyler can sit back, save all the ground, and just see if she's good enough. And she's got some really good works on her tab, so I think she can definitely fire. And then the number 4, Didia, this is more of a safer play. She's going to run a very similar trip to White Beam and Flavian Pratt, but, surprise, surprise, she doesn't have Flavian Pratt. Nothing against Jose Ortiz, but I don't think Jose Ortiz is nearly as good as Flavian. I think she is a very similar horse to White Beam, and then Flavian's just got the better horse. The third place finisher did win next time out, but that was at Delaware Park. So I don't necessarily think that, tips the cap to what she can do as far as, a warranted third place finish in that race. So I'm not swallowing 7-2. It's more of a defensive play on the 4 Didia. So that's my 4 top picks in this race: the 6, the 10, the 1, and the 4.
So as you always do, 6, 10, 1, 4. How would you play? You playing the 6 on top? How would if you were looking for a win place, and then how would you do your exacta here?
Yeah, I don't really see how. I mean, obviously I see how, because it's a horse race, anything can happen. But I really like White Beam. I like White Beam to win. That would definitely be my win play if that's the bet that you want to make. Win place definitely helps as well, as we should get a 10-horse field. But I actually really like my top 3 picks, the 6, the 10, and the 1. So instead of getting, I wouldn't say on the easier end as far as an exacta goes, let's get a little bit weird, play maybe a 50-cent trifecta, and let's go 6, 10, 1, 6, 10 on top, 1, 6, 10 in second, and then get super weird in third. That would be 1, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, and 10 in third place. And for 50 cents, that's $15. What we're really looking for is one of the 1, 6, or 10 to come in first and second. And then, like I said, I've got a little bit of a defensive play on the 4, but also some prices that I like that could definitely clunk up in third place to get this to pay, hopefully over $100.
All right, so he likes the 6 if you just wanted to go to the window, play win place, guys. And if you're looking to hit the try, a 50-cent punch, 1, 6, 10 with 1, 6, 10 with 1, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 10. That will be $15 at the window, correct?
Absolutely. And I mean, if you dive further into it, we've got a 15-1 and a 12-1 kind of sprinkled in there. So if I'm right with the 4, missing the board, maybe one of those 3 on top don't come in third, and the 7 or the 8 at a big price can come in third place. And like I said, get this to pay a little bit more.
And obviously, people that are playing this, you can go follow Sean right underneath at Smooth Turn 2. And don't forget, as I like to say, to tip the dealer when you cash in the big tickets. Right, Sean?
Yeah, I don't expect anything. Just, hey, I hit it. Let's congratulations. Because let me tell you, if you hit it, I probably hit it too.
The other race that you wanted to go over, the Sanford Stakes. Give us a little preview on this one.
Yeah, so this is we're going 6 furlongs, grade 3 Sanford. It's for 2-year-old males. So this is where we kind of maybe not start to get an idea of what the Kentucky Derby is going to do, because obviously that's what 9-10 months away. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. But these are some of the more, touted horses that are at least, coming into their own a little bit earlier, as we saw with Justify going on to win the Kentucky Derby. I believe his first career race was that January. So you don't necessarily have to run as a 2-year-old, but, these are definitely the horses that a lot of the early Kentucky Derby bettors are going to bet, and also gives you an idea of what maybe the Breeders' Cup Juvenile looks like later in November. So kind of go down what I like. I don't like to get too caught up in a horse's first start out. Now, generally, a horse will move up the second and third time out. So if he does, run off the pages first time out, there's still an opportunity to improve second and third time out. But generally, those are kind of world beater type horses. And I'll kind of start, instead of starting with my top 4 horses, I'll start with the 6-5-1 Mentee. This horse ran an 88 Beyer, by far the best Beyer speed figure in this race, and did so well by opening up by 5 lengths in the stretch. But I'm not even going to colloquial. I know he was the number 5. I can tell you that much because I watched the replay. But this horse came flying late. Velasquez tried to, as Velasquez kind of had Mentee in hand and kind of gearing down, and then saw the 5 come flying late and tried to ask Mentee to kind of kick back up. And the horse never responded. Not necessarily saying that's a bad thing, but, a lot of trainers don't want you to gear down too much because a horse isn't necessarily going to re-break. But I don't love the fact that he only got beat by a nose. It was actually a photo finish after he had a 5-length lead in the stretch. And what really kind of has a question mark around me was this horse, while it was 55 cents on the dollar as the favorite in that race, was actually a coupled entry. And the other side of the entry didn't even scratch. The other side actually ran in the race. So I don't know. I don't necessarily think that Pletcher thinks this is a world beater. Now, granted, does the right thing by entering him in the next 2-year-old race. But, I'm going to try and beat this horse a little bit. And with that being said, I really like the 5-3 Echoes. I know, surprise, surprise. Let's see if we can get a Flavian Pratt daily double in these 2 races, which would be great. But he ran a really good race in the Tremont, I thought. He broke well, kind of let, I believe it was the 8 Touchy, kind of get in front of him because they were going quick. And it looked like Flavian thought he had more horse underneath him. And he may have, because Touchy drifted 6-7 lengths out. And Flavian had to back off his horse and then dive to the rail because that was really the only open ground left, and did well, only for Touchy to switch leads and come diving in like now I'm not going to remember the horse's name, but we talked about him in the Kentucky Derby, how he came diving at the rail and messing up our Japanese horse. Of course, I'm going to blank on that now. But came diving in at the rail and pinned Flavian and 3 Echoes at the rail. And we've talked about it in other races when going over those Triple Crown races. Horses tend to shy away from being pinned at the rail. They don't like it. They don't run as well. And especially as a 2-year-old that doesn't know that and hasn't experienced that, I thought he ran a game effort by finishing 3rd in that race. And I can definitely see him making a step forward, as we've talked about, making this his 3rd start of his career. He has all the right to step forward. Flavian stays on. I love that angle. So you give me 4-1. I really like that. Would be my top pick. And then my second choice is actually the horse that came flying in that race to win, Studley Do Right. Maybe that's a nameplate for you, Jeff. Studley Do Right. But in both starts that this horse has ran, in the first start that he ran, he came on a sloppy track and they were not going fast. They went 23-2, 47-1. Like I said, on a sloppy sealed track, that is not fast at all. And he came flying late to win by 1.5 lengths, and then did the same thing when they were running quick in the last race in the Tremont, like I spoke about. So if anything, this is what looks to be, because he's only run 2 career starts, a very consistent horse. We know that he's going to come flying late. Can he get there, kind of thing? So this is one of those horses where even if you don't like him on the win in, because it is a sprint race, he is going up against a little bit of a step up in competition compared to last time out. maybe you don't like what I'm saying about this horse. He's going to be competitive, and I wouldn't shy away from using him at least in exactas and trifectas if you don't like him on top. But, from what we've seen, this is a horse that, you can kind of close your eyes for the first 3 furlongs and then try to pick him up because him and X-Man are going to come flying late. And then my third choice, again, kind of more of a defensive play. If this is a world beater, even if he can run back to that same buyer speed figure, this is going to be a really tough horse. But again, in that last race, I'm talking about the one Menti at 6-5, even in that last race when he won by that nose and ran that big buyer speed figure, don't get me wrong, he was the one horse, but because he was in a coupled entry, he actually broke from the outside post. I believe it was the 10 post. So he had everything in front of him. It was only one turn. I love outside posts in speed races when you can be that quick up top. Now he has to break from the rail. If he doesn't get up top, he's going to have to work out a trip. There's just a lot of, like I've said in other races when we talked earlier, Jeff, is, especially when you're looking at favorites, is, let's try and punch holes in his form. How many holes can you punch? And then, can you swallow the 6-5 up top? And for me, I think I've punched enough holes to warrant not betting him on the win end. But, again, that is a dangerous speed figure. Pletcher knows what he's doing, so I would use him defensively, but I do like other horses up top. And then just kind of to round it out, my last pick is the number 8 Moplex. I don't love his race in that race. He's going to have to step up, but he did win by 10 lengths as the dollar on the money favorite. Irad Ortiz takes the mount again as he was aboard in that career start, and he's going to get that outside draw. He has speed to be quick enough. I think it's more, can he break on top and just kind of surprise everybody? I don't like a lot of other horses in this race, so I kind of just fell into the number 8 Moplex, and hopefully he can stick around and run big late because I would need a price in my exacta.
So your win place would be the 3 here?
The 5, 3 Echoes.
The 5, 3 Echoes, excuse me. And your exactas for people?
This one for $1 would be 156 over 156 and 8, and that only costs $9 for each dollar you punch on that ticket.
Okay. And any sneaky play if they wanted to do a trifecta here?
I don't love that just because I do like shorter prices, and I just don't see how some of these prices, at least that I handicap. Now, some of these prices could definitely clunk up to third, especially if, some of our, I would say, top tier or higher tier horses just kind of get in a speed duel and spit the bit. But as far as handicapping goes, it's just not something that I feel confident in. If I did, it would probably include those same 4 horses, and I just don't think it's going to pay enough to warrant, paying a trifecta type price that, I just don't really love.
Weekend has started here at Saratoga. When does the Del Mar meet start?
Del Mar starts next Saturday. So a week from the tomorrow that we're talking about in the Saratoga races.
So next Friday at this time, we could have potentially some Saratoga and Del Mar. Is that what you're saying?
We're definitely going to have Saratoga and Del Mar, but we'll have to, behind the scenes, we'll have to talk about when that can work out, because Thursday night I fly to Arkansas to visit our buddy Grissom.
We might need to grab you on Thursday night or something, because
Thursday night,
once you two get together.
If you do Thursday night, you're going to have to put it behind a paywall.
Oh, that's true. That's true. The scroll has been going the whole time, but you can go follow Sean at Smooth Turn 2. Obviously, you can find all his work at Wager Talk. But as we always end up the show, Sean, the stage is yours to tell them what you got over at Wager Talk.
Yeah, so every day that Saratoga's running, I will have a card out on wagertalk.buzz/SA. I will have the same thing out for Del Mar. So when they do start running, there'll be 2 cards out per day. Both of them will be up for $15. But if you look at my page, you can get 30 days all access for $99. If you do the math, it's about $3 a card once Del Mar and Saratoga start. So if you are going to look into those cards, check out that $99 because if you're buying 2 cards a day, it adds up quick.
Guys, we're here for the long term, not the short term. As you know, Sean is one of the best when it comes to the horses. He's here regularly for the big races. We got him here now for the summer, so take advantage. Head on over to Wager Talk, and for just $99, he said $3 a card, you can get Del Mar and Saratoga for the whole month, and you don't have to leave your couch. So be smart on that, people. At 6:15 this evening, Scotty Webb will be back for In the Batter's Box to break down tonight's MLB card. I want to thank everyone for watching here with myself and Sean. Second day of Saratoga, talking some horses. And earlier this morning, obviously, with Travis Geiger of Wager Talk. So for myself, Jeff Dawson at EC Sports Invest, the one and only Sean Alvarez at Smooth Turn 2. We wish everyone a blessed day. It's the weekend, people. Have some fun. Cash some tickets. We'll see you soon.